Hey, it's Central Valley Business. I'm your host, Steve Walling. My guest for this segment is Eric Johnson. He is the Executive Director of CASA, Tulare County.
Thank you for having me.
Eric, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about a lot of important things.
Yes.
CASA.
CASA.
Child, what is it?
Court-appointed.
Court-appointed special advocate.
Yes,
That's
sir.
it. Okay.
Yes.
You know, kids, man, they got everything working against them if they're out there in the system or if they fall into the system. To have an advocate that can step up for them at a time when, things are looking pretty dark, or, because kids look at the world from a whole different perspective. Right. As an adult, we kind of look at the world and we go, okay, well, if we do this, we do that.
Right.
A kid, they're looking around and, they're looking for help.
Right.
And that's where CASA comes in for these kids,
Definitely.
right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We work with the abused and neglected children of Tulare County.
Uh-huh.
What we do is we train adults to become volunteers. They're court appointed, and those are the voices for the voiceless, as we say. So they go to court and speak on the behalf of the abused or neglected children of Tulare County, and it's been going on for almost 35 years now.
Yeah, and you've been with them that long, huh?
No.
You're relatively new.
Yes, sir.
And you stepped into it, and I think that's awesome.
Right.
We need more people like you. But in lieu of people like you, we also need people to step up as volunteers.
Right, right.
And I asked you, we had someone from your organization on. It's been maybe a couple months ago, and we were talking about the Big May fundraiser. Mm. But when we were talking about before we went on camera, I asked you if you got anything big coming up or going on right now, and you said, well, it's really in October. But you know what, Eric? Right. You got something big coming up every single day.
Yes.
Because every single day there's a kid in Tulare County that needs an advocate.
Right.
And so every day it's an opportunity for someone to step up, come forward, and to give back to a system,
right,
or give into the system to
right,
serve, to help create a better world.
Right.
And we don't create a better world by sitting there watching the news
right,
in the evening.
Right.
We got to participate.
Right. And I like to say this, I think sometimes, we think that abuse and neglect happens, as a societal issue. Mm-hmm. But I try to remind people it's a Tulare County issue. And it's happening right, in our backyard. Yeah. And I think it takes a village to help these kids to be successful. And I think that's why we're here, to kind of promote that. Yep. To get more volunteers on board, to get people to donate, not only their resources, but their time. And I think that's important.
You say it takes a village,
mm-hmm,
it takes one person.
That's right.
And that one person, every one person that steps up, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've taken on this, as a directorship, but it's also a challenge, isn't it?
It is. I mean, because we're, we have kids on a waiting list, and we don't have enough volunteers to service those kids. And I think that's kind of been the biggest challenge for myself, is finding enough volunteers to service, mm-hmm, those kids and be out of a job. I think that's going to be my mantra. I want to be out of a job.
Work yourself out of a job?
Work myself out of a job. I think because I think these kids deserve to have their voices heard.
You betcha.
And I think, we need to find responsible adults who are going to be willing to, step up to the plate and advocate for these kids.
I got two questions that come to mind as you were speaking. One is, what do you do to solicit volunteers? And two, how can someone find out about being a volunteer? It's kind of the same thing, but you see, someone's watching this and they said, that sounds like a good idea. How do we get a hold of you? But two, how do you outreach into the community?
Yeah, we have two outreach coordinators. Yeah. They are geographically split up in Tulare, and we do a lot of outreach. We do a lot of brand awareness, and if individuals are interested in joining CASA, they can go to www.casa.tulare.co.org, mm-hmm, or they can call us at area code 559-625-4007.
Okay, so we've got that information out there. Mm-hmm. We're kind of setting the hook. Now, to hook them in, what is it? Because I'm thinking, well, maybe I'd like to be a volunteer, but I have no idea, mm-hmm, how to be a volunteer, mm-hmm, what that means, what that entails. Right. So, here I am, totally clueless, and I decide to pick up the phone. Mm-hmm. How does the process move forward from there?
Well, the process moves forward. You'll ask for more information. You can come in on a selected day. Particularly in Visalia, we do Thursdays at 12 o'clock, mm-hmm, where you can get an orientation. We can go over the services that we provide, what's going to entail for you to become a volunteer. Mm-hmm. You have to go through a background check.
That's a good thing.
You have to, make sure that it's something that you're willing to, commit to. And I think that's the one thing that we try to encourage individuals is it is a commitment. You know, you're going to have to go through 40 hours of training, before you become sworn in by a judge. So, there's a process.
I get sworn in?
You can get sworn in.
Yeah.
You got to do your 40 hours.
I got to do my 40 hours. All right, that's cool.
So I think that's the biggest thing for me, and I think personally, being a former foster youth myself, being through group homes and foster homes, I was encouraged by this challenge.
Can I stop you right there?
Yes, sir.
Do you mind sharing your story a little bit?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. I was a former ward of Ohio. I was taken from my mom's at 11 years of age. I reunified with her at 17. I got expelled from 5 different high schools. Yeah. I was kind of labeled the worst of the worst. Yeah. So, I've been through the process, the traumatic process, and I understand where a lot of these kiddos are coming from.
What changed you?
A host of things changed me. I had a lot of good people in my corner, particularly my foster mother and my social worker.
Wait a second. Those are volunteers, aren't they? I mean, foster mother, yeah?
Yeah.
That's someone that stepped up, right?
She stepped up her time and resources, and she's still doing it to this day.
And it changed your life?
It changed my life wholeheartedly.
That's the power and the effect of what volunteering do.
Yes,
right
sir.
Right here, folks, I got an example sitting right next
right here.
This is a product of someone that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so you decided to give back.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's my life mission. I think I've been blessed to have a host of people in my life to kind of steer me in the right direction, and I think God put me in this position for a reason. And, I take that very seriously, and I'm willing to, like I said, get my boots on the ground and run and make sure that we provide a volunteer for every kid.
I don't know, Eric. I think if I was doing the job interview, I'd think you're maybe the man for the job.
Yes, sir.
That's
yes,
awesome.
Sir. I've been blessed.
Tulare County CASA is very lucky.
Yes, it is.
You're going to come back. We're going to talk more about this.
Yes, sir.
I want to see more volunteers step up.
Yes, sir.
I want to see a day when we got kids that are taken care of and volunteers that are looking for a kid because there's too many volunteers out there. Yeah. That's the day.
That's the day.
That's when we win.
Right.
And we're on a winning team, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being with us again. Real quick, how do we get a hold of you?
Area code 559-625-4007, or you can reach us at our website, www.casatulareco.org.
That's it.
Yep.
Get a hold of them. You live in Tulare County, it's a commitment. But it's a commitment to not only today, but it's a commitment to a life, and it's a commitment to a future. You can't do any better than that. I appreciate you watching this, and I'll see you when we come back.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
To learn more, visit CASATulareco.org.